aloha, bonjour, um, many other welcome words from different languages. I guess, hi, welcome to my Game of the Year video. Yeah, I keep saying that whenever I'm recording, but ah, um, I'm recording this because I decided to choose between two games as a video because it felt like I could and I should because I really don't have anything to do at the moment. So it was a fun thing to do. It was a great experience from both games. I just want to say before I go on, it is my opinion that is this in the talk about both games, and I'd like to apologize in advance about my speaking because I could see going back that this is my first time doing this. I wasn't as confident as I should have been, so it did sound a little bit weird, a few voice cracks here and there. So I cut me some slack in advance. Anyways, it is my opinion. Please remember that. So don't get too triggered or anything. Oh yeah, one more thing I wanted to say. I missed out a lot that I could have talked about in the video, and I know that's it's a little bit low. I should have talked about more, but it is what it is. I tried some things I could have added in, but I didn't because I didn't. So I'm sorry about that. But anyways, again, my opinion. I hope you do enjoy. Give a like, subscribe, and apologies for my lack of confidence, as some would say, in this situation, because I was really, really, really like, it was really weird the way I was talking, but nevertheless, let's go. I hope you enjoy the video. I want to start with Ghost, not because it is the lesser game, but because it's the one I'm most surprised with. Going into this game, I heard a lot of high praise coming from critics and gamers alike. It sounded like something I would enjoy very much, and playing it was an experience lived out by the praise and recognition from everyone. Fans from everywhere named this their Game of the Year in July, and in hearing that, I knew it was something special. The story itself is half-baked at first, and felt like I was being dragged into an introduction mission for hours and hours, being taught how to use stealth, the bow, and other mechanics that I felt could have been done over a short period of time. It did take its time, but then, as it did flow into Act 2 and 3, the game got really strong. The characters around Jin and the story moving forward was gaining momentum and getting even more exciting. I was on the edge of my seat by the time Act 2 was over, indulging me into the world of Tsushima and Jin's decision to transform into the ghost. The plot twists and the untimely demise of certain characters felt like a build of emotion and love I was surprised to feel in a game like this. Sucker Punch makes an excellent effort to build relationship with Jin's allies like Yuno, who at first felt like a bland character in Act 1, but is built further into the game. And his side missions are no doubt some of the more interesting ones in the game, and talk a lot about her character and her rough childhood. This definitely creates an interesting character that I really was surprised to see. Flashbacks were also in other ways that Sucker Punch introduced character building and love. From the story of Jin's youth father and his relationship with his uncle, then comparing them to now shows a contrast of beliefs and personality. Moving on, let's talk about the enemy and the main antagonist, Khotun Khan. To be honest, he is a scary character, with all aspects of honor and the way of the samurai coming from Jin and Lord Shimura. You see Khan being the complete opposite, and even though his presence isn't seen throughout, is felt through the impact on Tsushima and in its environment by the Mongols. From burnt trees and forests to burning houses, you always notice the presence of Mongolians and the effect on the invasion. This all assists magnificently to create a compelling story with an end no one could expect. But the one thing that stands out to all is its outstandingly beautiful world. It is possibly the most beautiful thing in a video game I've seen in a long time. From the way wind being a waypoint to the movement of the sun and the way it tears through trees and shines on the roses amongst the field. It is something that's a once in a lifetime experience. And the score is outstanding. I know I keep using the word, but it's so good. It works so well. The music at the beginning and introduction flows perfectly into the game. Moments of tension are built upon perfectly. Stealth, everything really works. Just riding your horse, and the music that comes on makes you want to just keep riding, just not stop. And I know it's a weird thing, but it is still a thing and it works. It's amazing. It makes a great game. I can't express how beautiful the environment is. It's it's amazing. Moving on now, The Last of Us 2. This game. Oh, this game. Possibly the most, if not one of the most controversial games of all time, and one of the most hated yet loved games. The highly anticipated Last of Us 2. Where to start? I got this game exactly on release date and played it straight away for the whole 20 to 30 hour experience of playtime. I loved it. The feeling. I don't think I've felt like that when I've played any other game. I know it sounds weird. I'm not horny. Relax. It was amazing. Almost perfect experience in the moment. Then I went through it again and started to notice things. More things than I had before. The little details and minute features you wouldn't expect to see in a video game. Like the sound of the gunshot every time. The movement of characters when out of breath. All these things seemed so little but had such a powerful effect and went unnoticed. But let's not beat around the bush and let's get to the main course, the narrative. Something that broke a once united fan base. The narrative in itself is debatable from an individual standpoint. It's subjective, and personally for me, it was okay. Nothing absolutely mind-blowing or shocking. Joel's death was something I'd anticipated, and personally, it didn't have the emotional impact that other people clearly had. Rather, I enjoyed playing the two sides of the stories. Some people clearly didn't enjoy that. I felt that Abby's character was better than Ellie's. Ellie's was driven by rage and revenge, but Abby's felt like Joel's in many ways. Protecting Yara and Lev felt like her duty, and it did build a relationship that I felt with Yara and Lev, an emotional relationship that hurt when Yara died, and stung when Lev was alone, without the sister. Ellie's story was painful to see. It was about hate, rage, and violence. I had to watch a character, and it does. Let me get that right. It does hurt to watch a character loved go through so much, and side characters such as Dina, Tommy, and Jesse get affected by this. Rest in peace, Jesse. Overall, the climax for me was one of the most painful things to go through, and something that even challenges me to go through again. Moving away from the story, other aspects are also in effect, such as the violence. I'm willing to say this with a whole heart, but this may be the most violent game ever made, if not one of them. Let me make my point. In gaming, I see three different ways of violence, being petty violence, such as games like Batman, Spider-Man. You get the point. It's a punch 'em up kind of game. Then there's raw violence, or games like Last of Us 2 categorizing, with other games like Middle Earth and maybe Ghost, those two being debatable. These type of games show realistic violence, stuff that it's brutal. And then finally comes over the top violence, where games like Mortal Kombat and Doom are involved. I think that's self-explanatory. It's over the top. What else can you expect? The combat's simple in itself. It's plain, but it's how it looks and feels that makes every situation different. Guns feel realistic. Every bullet matters. The enemies feel smart and realistic. They react to how you'd expect people to react if someone was hunting their friends. Dogs cry when owners die. I wrote dogs. Dogs cry when owners die, and owners hurt when dogs die. The detail's insane, and the score is amazing. Moments of great tension and violence are placed with music that have a strong bass, get the player's heart racing. Like the segment when Ellie's chasing Tommy. You feel the music and tension build up when you get closer to him and the enemies become more aware of you. Then you look around the world, and that by itself is outstanding in terms of raw graphical realism. It's fucking gorgeous, amazing. Like moments at the farm are stunning. Everything around the players feels realistic in Seattle, amazing. The way the water moves, the grass, the sky. It's it's just, I'm surprised that it's possible to make a game that detailed. Now we're going to speak about the cons of both games, downsides, the things that hurt to be talked about. And let's start off where we left off, The Last of Us 2. In terms of flaws, I would say the narrative is the main one. It is just too weak for a game like The Last of Us, and its predecessor being one of the best games of all time. It was really impossible to beat that, and I don't think The Last of Us 2 managed to do so in terms of narrative. The combat's different, maybe a little bit too easy at times, even in the hardest mode and difficulty, and it felt rinsed closer towards the end. Stealth sections felt overused, and at times, I forgot that the world was filled with zombies, and in the middle of an apocalypse as well. It just felt maybe out of place. The last weak point as well, which I would say is one of the main ones, is the pacing. The game doesn't know when to end. Although yes, it does know how to push on to emotional moments and sad times, but when it came to storytelling, the last few times and the last hours of the game felt forced on the players and dragged. It didn't feel right. And then you take a look at Ghost of Tsushima. By far it had some of the dumbest AI I've ever seen in a game. It's just outstandingly stupid. The Mongols just don't know how to look up in a stealth situation. And that did make stealth overpowered. And yes, combat felt good with a range of technique and enemy types. But again, the AI was so stupid, allowing for some weird encounters. I also want to talk about the flipping horse. The horse is so dumb. There's moments where you call it and it will appear on mountain tops. Like it was just it's so dumb. And again, back to the enemy AI. I can't express how dumb it is. It's like you kill an enemy and they'll notice the body and they'll just walk away. And then moving on, another major problem. And this is one that I personally have, along with the AI and the horse. The flipping horse. It was the bugs and glitches. There were so many minor ones that it became annoying to a point. And there was even a moment, I have this clipped and I'll show it, but I got Jin trapped inside a bird cage. I think we should have like a minute silence. How is that possible in a game like this? It's just it's something. It is what it is, you know. But it was surprising that both games, although having really not really long term development but time development, they had major flaws. Sometimes even got to a point where it was unplayable and annoying. But it is what it is. Every game has flaws, and we shouldn't really we shouldn't really judge a game based on its flaws, because it happens to the best of us. And I think, respectably, they've been flawed. But come on, the horse AI, what the hell? Come on. I guess we're here at the end, the final segment, the conclusion, my comparing finale, where I decide which game is going to be my game of the year. And in all honesty, both games were really good. Ghost of Tsushima felt like the best samurai game I've ever played. Even though I haven't played that many, this does put a high bar for the next samurai game I do decide to take my hands onto. Last of Us showed initiative, something different, something fans wouldn't have expected. I feel like both games are really good, but if I had to pick one for Game of the Year, I would say The Last of Us 2. The Last of Us 2 is amazing, and yeah, I gotta say, the combat did get rinsed, but every situation was different. Unlike, well, I don't want to say Ghost of Tsushima, every situation wasn't different, but in The Last of Us, every environment felt different. The rooms didn't feel the same, the design didn't feel the same. You had story. The story, yeah, complicated. Many people didn't like it, but I would have to say, as a standalone story, I did really like the take on it. Even though it was a little bit stretched out by the end of it, I felt like Naughty Dog did a great job, but it was weak for a story from Naughty Dog. And we look at visuals from both games, and yeah, I'm saying it right now, Ghost of Tsushima looked way better in terms of beauty. It had its moments, and those moments can't be taken away because they were just so good. And The Last of Us 2 didn't have that many, but The Last of Us 2, in terms of raw realism, it beat Ghost of Tsushima by a long shot. It was just so well crafted in terms of graphical input, and I do feel right in saying this, it is probably the best looking game out there in the market right now. And yeah, don't get me wrong, Ghost of Tsushima is amazing. It was a really close call between the two, but The Last of Us did take it just by a little bit. Anyways, let me wrap this up. Thank you all for watching and listening. Don't forget, it is just my opinion, and I'd love to hear yours in the comment section below. Sub, like, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.